Today's first myth actually came via request, and it's the question of whether or not the classic Dead Kennedys track Nazi Punks Fuck Off was actually inspired by the crowds that came to their shows. First released in November of 1981, before it came out in the In God We Trust EP, the song has been covered countless times over the years, and as is the case with a number of Dead Kennedys songs, it has a very obvious and very strong message. And the claim that this one was written in response to their audience is 100% true. In the late 70s, for whatever reason, a portion of the West Coast punk rock scene all of a sudden started to embrace Nazi symbolism, and some people even adopted neo-Nazi lifestyles. And as it happened, more of these people tended to go to Dead Kennedys shows than the shows of their peers. Anyone who listens to the music of the Dead Kennedys knows that as a band, they're about as far on the other end of the spectrum as you can possibly get. And this is a song to basically tell those neo-Nazi members of their crowd to, well, the song title kind of says it all, doesn't it? One other note on this song is that on the EP version of this, Jello Biafra says at the top that the song is overproduced by Martin Hannett. This was a joke, as the well-known producer had absolutely nothing to do with this song. But the fact that the neo-Nazis at their show influenced this song is absolutely true. Our second myth today is a rather humorous one, and it's the claim that Julie Andrews celebrated her 69th birthday live on stage at Radio City Music Hall, performing a rather odd rendition of the song My Favorite Things. As it's told, the show in question was actually a benefit for the AARP, and in the altered version that Andrews sang, the lyrics suddenly started referring to things like walkers and knitting and back pains and other things that older people have to deal with. This story is, however, completely false. Every single word of it. Not only did Andrews not perform at Radio City Music Hall that year, but there's no mention of an AARP benefit there at all. Furthermore, the altered lyric in question does exist, but it really doesn't show up until about 2001. And after her 1997 throat surgery, Julie Andrews almost never performed anywhere. So I'm sorry, it might be a funny song, but Julie Andrews never sang it. Today's final myth was also a request, and it's a bit of a strange one, and it all goes back to 1969 and the Grateful Dead's album, Oxomoxoa. For most people who are into this band, it's kind of considered the epitome of their musically experimental era. But honestly, the myth in question has absolutely nothing to do with the music. As the legend goes, on the back of the album there are a bunch of people sitting on the grass, and in the front is a very young little girl, and lots of people like to claim that that girl is none other than Courtney Love. Now, on most levels, this one makes absolutely no sense at all, unless you know a little bit of the deeper, geekier history of the band, because this story is actually 100% true. Pictured at only 5 years old, in the front right part of the picture, she's sitting next to the man that people love to call Pigpen. But why her, you might ask? Good question. Well, the reality is, Courtney Love's father, Hank Harrison, was actually one of the earliest managers of the Grateful Dead. No joke, that's absolutely Courtney Love. Go check it out. So those are the myths for this week. Be sure to check back here every single Friday as I delve into some of the coolest stories in music history, and I'll see you guys again next time.